Hey, it's Jeff Macolino here for FL Teams, giving you a quick recap reaction to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers New Orleans Saints game. The Bucs finally able to end their regular season struggle with the New Orleans Saints. And all credit for this game has to go to the Bucs defense. This was a defensive struggle. Like the last time these two teams met and it was a 9-0 game, these two defenses are two of the best defenses in the NFL, probably both in the top five. The Bucs ended up with 6 sacks, 5 takeaways. Some interesting ones. I think the key to this game boiled down to the quarterback play of the Saints. Tom Brady did not impress me at all at the quarterback position, and frankly, I think the Bucs have faced 2 solid defenses, so I don't think it's time to overreact. But the Bucs' offense was atrocious in this game. Couldn't get anything going. Really, the only drive they had that resulted in a touchdown on offense was aided by 2 terrible mistakes by the officiating crew to extend the Bucs drive. Those should not have happened. Not saying the referees determined the game by any stretch. I think they were terrible. Lattimore should not have been ejected from the game. Mike Evans with a cheap shot. But I think that's a smart strategy. Look, Mike Evans just cannot get open against Marshawn Lattimore, so take a blindside cheap shot on him, try to get him ejected, and, you both go to the locker room, you take their best defensive player off the field. I understand it. It's a strategy. Mike Evans has a history of blindside cheap shots on Lattimore, so that's interesting. Be on the lookout, potential suspension for Evans there. But the Bucs defense, focus on that. It's tough to gauge where they are overall because I thought Jameis Winston looked like he did when he played for the Bucs. I've seen a lot of excuses of his 4 broken bones in his lumbar spine. I don't really see it because a lot of it was just really bad decision making. The Bucs got 6 sacks. Most of those, look, here's one thing I'll say when you look at quarterbacks in this game, Brady and Winston, is Brady, on several occasions, he got rid of the ball a half second to a second before he was even under pressure because he anticipated it. One play, Davenport was driving whichever left tackle was in the game at the time, and he chucks the ball towards no one really, just in the ground between receivers, because he knew that if he waited a little bit longer, he wouldn't be able to even step forward and throw the ball away properly. He obviously has so much experience and anticipation. He sees when a blitz is coming and knows he's got to get the ball out no matter what. Winston showed the complete opposite, in my opinion, in this game. The last sack by Barrett, all he really had to do was take a step forward. Somehow he didn't see the rush coming on his right side. So Winston just really, on one of his runs where he ended up fumbling the ball and the Saints recovered, he just showed just a lack of field awareness, which I think is indicative of him. And then throwing the pick 6 to Mike Edwards was a terrible decision. Once it left his hands, it was pretty clear a pick 6. And the Bucs, in the secondary especially, did a tremendous job in coverage. Dean ended up with 2 interceptions. Again, Winston, the second interception to Dean. And there was one that frankly should have been a 4th interception, I think, on the Saints' touchdown drive, where he hit another defensive back pretty much in stride, and they dropped that one. So where do things go from here? Look, I'm looking forward to the rematch of the Bucs and Saints because these two teams hate each other. That brawl that was, started by Lattimore and Brady chirping at each other, and then Fournette came over, shoved Lattimore. Lattimore shoved him back. Should have stopped there, but then Evans had to take it to another level. Enough about Mike Evans. He can watch his game film and see his 1 catch for 7 yards when defended by Lattimore and know that he got owned again. But look, these are two great defenses. I think the Saints have some real offensive issues they've got to deal with. I don't know if the Bucs do or not. Again, I think the Cowboys showed today they've got a solid defense playing against the Bengals. I think pretty confident the Saints have a great defense against the Bucs. Especially, they're really built to beat the Bucs. And they played great too, really. The difference in this game was the turnovers, the pick six, obviously the biggest of them. The Bucs do have a game advantage. There is obviously a second game against the Saints, but they are sitting in a real good position, especially in the NFC, let alone the NFC South, where the other two teams are, 0-2, the Panthers and Falcons. We don't know about the Saints. The Saints go play the Panthers. You could argue the Saints offensively, I don't think there's any doubt, have had one good quarter out of the first 8 of the season. So the Saints, are they really going to contend with the Bucs for the division? I don't know. Need to see more out of Winston. Mark Ingram having ball security issues, so not sure where the future holds. There's definitely a question mark there. The Bucs, though, they know that, frankly, look, Brady, 18 of 34, barely over 50%, 190 yards. Fournette, 24 carries for only 65 yards. The Bucs offense was shut down, and the defense was still good enough to get them a win. That's, something the Bucs can hang their hat on. They're a defensive ball club this year. And look, they also didn't have Chris Godwin. I would never count on Julio Jones the way he's shown his availability status to be over the last couple of years. Never count on Julio, but Chris Godwin will be back in whether it's a couple weeks or a month. And the offense should improve a little bit when Godwin gets back in there too. And we'll see as far as Donovan Smith and the offensive line. I think they're going to have struggles all year at that, but they'll be able to get by because they have a quarterback who really knows. He's got that clock in his head and really knows when he's got to get the ball out. So subscribe to FL Teams, coverage of all Florida sports, college and professional.